Here's a deeply rich, detailed summary of the book, Read People Like a Book by Patrick King. It's written in a warm, conversational style, like a trusted friend, sharing powerful insights with gentle clarity. Patrick King's Read People Like a Book is far more than a hack manual. It's a field guide for curious, caring humans. It teaches not how to manipulate, but how to understand deeper, from microexpressions to life story cues in someone's belongings. King leads readers toward empathy through insight and reflection. Key reminders as you go forward. Always start with self-awareness. Your emotions color what you perceive. Look for patterns over time. Avoid snap labels. Context is everything, from culture to climate to conversation. Use these skills responsibly, with warmth and respect. If you take away just one lesson, seek to connect rather than categorize. Now here we will discuss the whole book summary in detail one by one chapter. Let's begin.
Part 1. Foundations. Why Reading People Matters. 1. Observation over assumption. Human beings constantly signal more than they say. Facial expressions, posture, gestures, clothing, they all whisper emotions and motives. King insists, watch closely, listen attentively, and observe what doesn't match the person's words. Said another way, actions speak louder than words is more than a proverb. It's a strategy for truth-seeking. 2. Baseline behavior. You can't understand anomalies without knowing the norm. King teaches baseline behavior, how someone typically gestures, speaks, or carries themselves. When deviations occur, like nervous tics or quicker speech, that's your cue to ask what changed. 3. Multiple data points and avoiding snap judgments. One gesture or phrase doesn't define someone. Instead, King urges collecting multiple observations over time across contexts. This helps avoid the law of small numbers, drawing conclusions from too little data, and builds more accurate impressions. 4. Context is king. Is that crossed arm defensive posture or the person is just cold? Context shifts meaning. King frequently reiterates, consider environment, mood, cultural norms, and personal history before drawing conclusions. 5. Overcoming biases and emotional projections. Before you can decode others, you must examine yourself. Emotional biases, projection, judgment, past hurts, can lead you to misread others. Awareness of your own shadow and triggers is essential for clarity. Part 2. Nonverbal communication, the silent language. Microexpressions and facial truths. King emphasizes the power of microexpressions, those brief, fleeting facial flashes that betray genuine emotion before conscious control kicks in. These include the 6 universal emotions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, disgust, surprise. Real empathy begins when you discern a Duchenne smile, one that crinkles the eyes, versus a polite fake grin that doesn't reach them. Posture, gestures, and movement clusters. From leaning forward to signal engagement or crossing arms to close off, body postures are rich with meaning. King advises observing clusters, a combination of posture, gestures, gaze, and tone, to avoid misinterpreting a single cue in isolation. Eye behavior. Eyes are particularly expressive. Eye contact, blinking, pupil dilation can signal interest, discomfort, deception, or excitement. King describes, for example, that rapid blinking may indicate anxiety or lying, while pupillary dilation often indicates emotional arousal or attraction. Mirroring and rapport. Subtly reflecting another person's gestures, tone, or posture tends to build ease and trust. Conversely, sudden mismatches can signal emotional distance, an imperfect echo that our subconscious picks up immediately. Part 3. Motivation in the psyche. Maslow's hierarchy and self-concept understanding. What motivates someone, whether safety, belonging, esteem, or actualization, helps decode behavior. King employs Maslow's hierarchy to help readers gauge where people stand in their needs and life stage. The shadow self and inner child, drawing from Jungian psychology, King explores the shadow, parts of ourselves unconsciously hidden or suppressed, and the inner child, past emotional wounds shaping current behavior. He encourages curious yet kind observation of these hidden patterns in others, not to judge, but to understand fundamentally. Pleasure versus pain in defense mechanisms. People often act to avoid pain rather than pursue pleasure. Recognizing defense mechanisms like ego protection, rationalization, or projection helps explain behaviors that otherwise seem illogical or disproportionate. Part 4. Communication cues and conversational intelligence. Active listening. Active listening means more than hearing words. It means tuning into tone, inflection, hesitations, and what's left unsaid. King illustrates how silence or delayed responses can indicate uncertainty, stress, or dishonesty, whereas voice modulation, pitch, pace, reveals emotion beneath words. Word-tone discrepancies. When someone's tone doesn't match their word, like saying "I'm fine" with a quavering voice, you're looking at dissonance. King advocates weighing mismatches between what's said and how it's delivered as deeper data points. Ethical influence versus manipulation. King acknowledges how powerful reading people can be, but repeatedly stresses ethics. Use these skills to foster understanding, not to manipulate. His aim, influence through empathy, not deception. Part 6. Practical application and skill-building practice. Over theory, King insists that reading people is a skill sharpened through real-life practice. Slow observation in low-stakes settings like cafes or family gatherings. He frequently cites the wisdom: start with watching baseline behavior, then look for deviations to understand emotional shifts. Self-awareness exercises. Reflecting on your own emotional state and communication style is critical. After conversations, ask, did my body language match my words? Did biases color my reading? Journaling helps build self-awareness over time. Empathy and rapport-building practices. Mirroring, active listening, open-ended questions. King offers practical exercises to foster connection. For example, ask someone about a meaningful experience, then lean in subtly, mirror their gestures, and observe tone shifts to sense their engagement. Watch for cultural differences. Body language norms vary widely across cultures. King emphasizes sensitivity and humility early on. Don't assume a gesture in one culture means the same in another. Pay attention to local norms and adjust your interpretations accordingly. Part 7. Ethical and psychological depth. Use skills for connection, not control. King cautions repeatedly against using these insights to manipulate. Instead, his consistent message is, approach others with curiosity, not suspicion, with empathy, not power plays. The aim is mutual understanding, not advantage. Cognitive bias and confirmation. Trapped people often remember the hits and forget the misses. Confirmation bias can make us feel like we're brilliant at reading others, but missing when we're wrong. King encourages humility. Test hypotheses, stay open, reevaluate frequently. Part 8. Organized recap. Skills in action. Skill area. Why it matters, how to practice it. Observation reveals nonverbal truth. Watch clusters, note deviations. Baseline behavior helps detect emotional change. Record typical gestures, speech, active listening, and tone awareness. Words alone can mislead. Notice pauses, hesitations, mismatch reading. Facial and body language microexpressions reveal honest emotions. Learn universal expressions, adjust for context. Motivational frameworks helps decode hidden drives. Apply Maslow's theory. Personality and environment shows how traits express in habits or space. Observe belongings, social media, decor. Empathy and self-awareness clears bias and builds rapport. Journal. Reflect post-interaction, ethics and humility. Prevent misuse and overconfidence. Review motives. Stay curious, not cunning.